time that Nigerians felt the pain immensely, and we are still feeling the pain. But it's a necessary sacrifice that has been made.
Yes, a necessary sacrifice that has touched Nigeria to the bone marrow.
Yes.
But again, if you want to give a pass mark to this administration in terms of economy, what will you score them?
Coming from the background of how the economy was when this new administration came in, I will say that they have been able to revive the economy from the comatose state back to what we can call a living state. But I am not going to score them 100% or 70% because you will see that in the course of these 2 years there have been policies on assault that has also affected the functionality of the policies that this government brought to form. So in scoring this administration, I would say yes, they have started something, bringing Nigeria back to life from the comatose state, but they still need to do more. Presently, probably 50%.
The subsidy was removed so that Nigeria will have some money to do some development projects.
Yes.
Why is it that Nigeria is going and borrowing again? Because just yesterday, they are borrowing, they are looking for over 58 billion.
Yes.
So why? So is the money not sufficient to do what?
The problem is that for every administration there are revenue targets, and also you cannot rule out revenue shortfalls. In the previous administration, before it was scrapped, there was what is called excess crude account.
Yes.
And that excess crude account used to help to plug in shortfalls that comes from sales of crude oil. And we discovered that in the past few months, the price of crude has really reduced, has come down even below the budgeted expectations. So the government is running at a shortfall now, and they need to look for other areas to plug this shortfall so that it can meet up with the infrastructural aspirations of the government, and also to meet up with all the other obligations that it has. So borrowing by government cannot be cannot be ruled out, but the efficiency of the borrowing is the most important part of it. And I can tell you that even in the past last few weeks, we discovered that Nigeria eventually finished the payment of the COVID-19 loan that was given. It shows that there is commitment to ensure that we meet our obligations at every point in time. So what I believe the National Assembly need to do is to look at the viability of the projects that these funds are expected to be used for, and to look at the capacity of Nigeria to pay the loans.
Now, let me see, because when you talk about the economy, you also decide, you also look at the average Nigerian out there.
Yes.
There are some people who are civil servants, and you are paying them 70,000 naira
Of recent.
And they live as far as Nasarawa State.
Yes.
To come to work and go to work, at the end of the month, that 70,000 naira means nothing to them.
Definitely.
So why would you want an average Nigerian to praise the economic policy of this administration?
Definitely. If you look at, just like I said earlier, the standard of living is very low. The capacity of Nigerians to purchase items, to purchase products that they will need is also diminishing. So we're having diminishing returns, even in government. Government workers that are the lower rung of earnings are feeling the brunt seriously. Apart from those that are middle level government officials and above, that have ways and means of ameliorating the problems by one way or the other that they use to help themselves. But really, when you look at the situation, the level of poverty, or the poverty index, has been rising over the past 10 years. We cannot rule that out. And it will continue to rise if nothing is done to tackle industrialization, if nothing is done to tackle unemployment and underemployment. Because I can tell you categorically that in Nigeria, even the rate of underemployment is far higher than unemployment. People just want to have something to do. The take home most times does not take them home. So the challenges is much. Nigerians are groaning from what we met on ground and what these policies doing to an average Nigerian. But one thing I want to know is that it's better to have a country that is still moving than a country that is in coma.
Is Nigeria moving?
Yes, Nigeria is moving.
How? Let me hear it from you.
Yes, looking at some of the policies of government to ensure that we grow the SMEs, you discover that more people are going into SMEs because of the government opportunity to build capacity in the area of loans at single digit for them. So many tech startups are coming up now to give room for the youth to be able to be gainfully employed and engaged. The government is also looking critically at agriculture to ensure that the youth and those that are particularly in the agricultural value chain are able to increase their capacity in the area of loans and facilities, and manufacturers as well. Some of the problems that is making companies to close now, especially manufacturing companies, has been the high interest rates or the burden of indebtedness on them that has not allowed margin for profitability. So with the loans that is being advanced to manufacturing companies, to SMEs and the rest at single digit interest rates, is where the government is trying to re-engineer the economy to make it functional again. Before this administration came, there are so many very viable companies that have closed down in Nigeria. But we see that there is renewed interest now, and some of these investors have started coming. We have also seen that FDIs have started improving. We also saw that diaspora remittances has also drastically improved because of the policies of the Central Bank of Nigeria. And for the first time in 10 years, Nigeria was able to have what we call a surplus, trade surplus, which is a sign that we are getting gradually back. And the truth is that it is not easy everywhere, but we have to have a government that has the thinking cap on and is working towards
Well,
it.
I don't think I have really seen or heard of any of these conglomerates that left Nigeria to Ghana and to other
places.
that I don't think any of them has come because one, they complain, one of their reasons, hardship,
Yeah.
the electricity, they
Yes.
can no longer pay. You understand? So I am not aware of any of them that has come back so far.
Definitely, the way they have left is not the way they are going to come back. But what the government needs to do, and probably what they are
Because I can
trying
give
to
instance, Bata in Lagos, Leonard's,
Definitely.
Cadbury, these people left for the West Coast and have refused to return back because of the situation in Nigeria here.
Yes, that is the truth. The situation is serious, and I'm very sure that the government also knows that we need to improve the ease of doing business in Nigeria, which has been a major challenge to these countries.
Well, at this point, I think we will take a brief break and we'll come back to you very shortly. Okay, welcome back from that very short break. We are still discussing the midterm policies and achievement of the present administration. Mr. Bolawo and Bolade, let us look at the impact, really now, the impact of this government's decision, how it has impacted averagely on the civil servants and the average Nigerian out there. Do you think they are living well?
Yes, living well is in context. You will discover that in the past 12 months, the cost of food staple food has started reducing one way or the other due to the intervention of government through private sector initiatives. We discovered that the cost of rice that has gone up to almost 100,000 has started coming down because private organizations or companies like BUA Foods and the rest decided to import enough to cut the underhand tactics of rice sellers that are storing rice to cause an increase so that they can make excessive profit. Also, other staples have also started coming down, and we have seen that there is improvement gradually. Now, this improvement is not going to, the prices are not going to crash overnight. They are going to take a lot of time and a lot of input from government to ensure that the economy is saturated to the extent that the price mechanism would favor the people on the long run. And that is why some of the policies that the government is introducing, like banning products that can be produced in Nigeria from being imported into the country, is a good one, to ensure that the local capacity is strengthened and those that are producing in Nigeria have a base to be able to sell their products. So last year the cost of goods and services were very, very high, and everybody can attest to that. But gradually it's coming down and it's reducing. And what we need to do in Nigeria really is that we need to live with the reality that yes, the regulation has come to stay, but what are the things that can make the regulation to be of advantage to an average Nigerian is competition. Competition is very, very key in every economy around the world that are doing very well.
Because, if you allow
monopoly, then definitely some people will sit down and they will decide to do whatever they like, and there's nothing you can do. That's why I like the way the government is encouraging this competition. I'm very happy for the deregulation of the petroleum products. I'm very happy that the local private refinery is functioning, and even the one for the government is picking up gradually, despite the fact that some are closed and some are coming up, because this gives rooms for competition. In case some of our viewers don't know, before Dangote became operational, we had about 7 modular refineries that are functioning but at a very low level, that their impact could not be felt. So the coming up of the largest refinery in Africa and around the world has really been a game changer, and it has changed a lot of things, and it has improved the level of competition. Because of the success of that refinery, we see other companies like BUA Petroleum going into refining, and so many other refineries. In the past 6 months, the Nigerian government has issued nothing less than 5 refining license to companies. And if this I'm looking at a situation whereby competition would be in every facet of Nigeria's economy to make sure that, because it's really competition that can drive down price. We have seen the little of it with what Dangote is doing with other marketers now. If we have 50 refineries in Nigeria and they are producing in excess of what Nigeria needs, everybody will be struggling to sell its products, and in the process they will continue to reduce it. So I want that competition to replay in every area of Nigeria's economy, because that is because we are running a private economy. Is not a socialist economy. It's not a government controlled economy. And in an economy like Nigeria, then competition needs to be encouraged for us to enjoy the benefits of government.
How do you see most of these companies importing food, and that is what is making the price of food items to go down? You talk about import. We're supposed to encourage local production of this food item, but because of security reasons, it has not happened. Most people now cannot go to farm. Look at every day you hear about kidnapping farmers and cows going into farmland. So what will you say about this?
Yes, the problem is an age-long problem that has been happening in previous administration, but Nigeria has not really, we have not really gotten to the stage of solving this problem. The first one of what you said is the farmer herders crisis, which is
Yeah.
still happening. But one of the things that I believe should solve the problem is the creation of the Ministry of Livestock. This ministry has been created. The stakeholders that are pushing
Would it not
this,
be a duplication with Ministry of Agriculture that is on ground?
now we want to give them attention. We want to give the pastoralists attention. We want to give those cattle rearers attention. There should be a blueprint that will state how they are supposed to operate. There have been so many discussions on whether the ranching system should be effective or whether we should allow them to continue to roam as they are doing. But I believe that the work of the Ministry of Livestock is cut out for them. They need to provide a solution because they are almost a year now that it has been established. They need to provide a solution to stop this menace of farmer herders crisis because it has really affected food production in Nigeria. It's the second highest problem that Nigerian farmers have apart from insecurity. So that is one of the challenges that this government has tried to solve. Of recent also, the government decided to have forest guards, which will become operational very soon. This could also help in one way or the other to reduce the activities of terrorism that will free the farmlands for our farmers to be able to farm. You will discover that Nigerians have not been able to produce to the capacity that is expected because of this twin problem of terrorism and farmer herders crisis. And you also discover that this problem is prevalent in agrarian states, and that is why we are having the rippling effect. So in order not to starve Nigerians, the government needs to weigh the policies of partial import in some areas and stoppage of importation in some areas to balance it out so that we can still have food at a reasonable price.
Yeah, let's go to our final talking point now, which is about Dangote Refinery and product.
Yeah.
Recently, Dangote the price has been coming down gradually. For, at least as of yesterday when I bought fuel, it was $8.95 in some filling stations.
Yes.
Some filling stations are still selling $9.10.
Yes.
Some $9.20, especially Total, $9.20. From that $9.30, $9.35, $9.40 that we used to buy. So
Yes.
how do you look at these implications?
Yes. Dangote is fighting. Dangote Refinery is fighting the fight of his life. He's fighting in two ways. It's a three-phased war. He's fighting with NNPC monopoly, and he's also fighting with importers of petroleum products. And that is why he's constantly on his toes to ensure that he's ahead of every of them. You will discover that Dangote Refinery had about 5 or 6 companies that are his affiliates. They are the ones that when you go to their filling stations, you can buy at that $8.95 in Abuja,
Yes, yes.
and at a reduced price in other places. The
The
affiliates of NNPC also, when you go to their filling stations, they are the ones you see selling at $8.99 or $900, depending on the state.
NNPC, as of this morning, has joined $8.95.
So as to be competitive.
Yes.
But we still have some that are affiliates of the independent marketers,
Yes.
that are still
Yes.
importing
Yes.
petroleum products. They are the ones that are still in the range of 910, 920. So you see that it's giving Nigeria a lot of choice, a lot of opportunity, and this competition is what we need to ensure that we have a balanced economy. If you ask for my opinion, I will say that the government should outrightly stop importation of petroleum products. Because what we are producing in Nigeria now for petroleum products, for PMS, for diesel, for aviation fuel is enough, because Dangote is even exporting to other African countries. So this business of importation of petroleum products is even affecting the capacity of the central bank to finance other legitimate imports that will help the economy to grow.
How would this affect the downstream sector?
Yes, this policy of ensuring that there is enough refining capacity in Nigeria will encourage the dancing sector. You discover that there are more oil blocks that are being allocated now,
Yes.
and more interest is being shown by foreign investors and petroleum companies. Even Petrobras is coming back to Nigeria because of the way the deregulation of the sector is playing out. So Nigerians stand to gain a lot from adequate refining of petroleum products that has been spearheaded by Dangote Refinery and other refineries that are coming on board. And Nigeria needs to stop importation of petroleum products because we have enough refining capacity now to be able to meet local needs and even export.
Do you think that what Dangote is doing now is capable enough to reshape the economy in Nigeria?
That is where we are going, and I believe that if government can support, I'm not saying they should allow monopoly.
Yeah.
If government can support him to ensure that those that are importing should come and run their own local refineries here, then it will help Nigeria in a very big way.
Okay. Finally, let me leave you with so how do you think that the price reduction impact and business operations of petrol importation marketing and other things? How do you think that there will be a strategy for stabilizing Nigeria's economy?
Yes. Before now, petroleum products importation takes about 70 to 80% of Nigeria's foreign exchange, and it gives little room for other vital products that needs to be imported for manufacturing purposes and others. Now, with the advent of Dangote Refinery, that pressure on our foreign reserve has reduced drastically, and the capacity to utilize almost all the forex that the central bank has also reduced, and it has strengthened the foreign reserve, and it has allowed the economy to balance up. You will also discover that Naira itself is stabilizing gradually, because the stability of the Naira depends on the strength of the foreign exchange. And now, the foreign exchange is 1,600 and around.
Around.
Yes.
But that's what that is supposed to be.
The way it's going, if we have enough forex, if we have enough capacity to, presently we have over 40 billion in our foreign reserve, as it's been stated statistically. For Nigeria's Naira to gain strength, we need close to 200 billion in our foreign reserve to be able to meet needs.
We had 300 billion in 2015. It has reduced to about 40 billion.
That is it.
So are we making any progress?
There have been years of waste which we need to recover from. And that is why I believe that if this government is sincere, it should look at ways and means to strengthen the foreign reserve. You look at countries like Saudi Arabia, Libya, for example, that even water that are into petroleum products manufacturing. If you look at their foreign reserve, it is a function of how their local currency is standing firm.
Yeah.
So Nigeria needs to follow suit to ensure that with the opportunity we have in petroleum products, in other vital minerals that Nigeria has, we need to boost our foreign reserve to the extent that between now and the next 10 years, we should be talking about 150, 200 billion in foreign reserve. So that when we have that, we will be able to not only increase the confidence of investors, both local and foreign, but we will be able to balance out the economy to the extent that bigger and larger ticket transactions.
But you know how politicians operate, because they don't want to keep money in foreign reserve for another coming government to come and.
But that's where we need to go. If actually the interest of our politicians is nationalistic, that is the way to go, to be able to make the economy to be stabilized.
Well, I think that's where we rally up at this moment. I've been speaking with Bolade Ijakulu, a financial inclusion expert. Thank you so much for being our guest.
Thank you for having me.
So that's the program for today. Join us again tomorrow where we'll give you another topic.